What's going on today, everybody? Well, I've had a couple people ask me and a couple comments come up asking if they actually work, if these 2015 coilovers actually work on my 2011 Subaru hatchback STI. So I thought I'd go over it with you. I'd give you the pros, the cons, what's worked, what didn't work, and yeah, we'll just dive right into it. So here it is. Here's how it's sitting right now on these coilovers. Okay, so first things first, the ride height. What did I actually go with? Now, I completely failed to take a pre-measurement of what my fender was. I did a long time ago. I don't quite remember it. I looked it up online. There's a couple guys saying that it was 26.6 in the front, 26.4 in the rear, somewhere around that. So 26.5 inches is about what stock was, and right now, we'll run around and I'll show you what we're sitting at right now. So here's our front tire, and if we go off the ground here and go up to our fender, we're sitting right about 25 and a quarter, and our rear is about 25 and a half. Well, after going around the car, it looks like I still have a little bit of adjusting to do on this springs. I've got about quarter inch between a couple of the tires, but with that being said, it's riding right about 25 and a half, which is a full inch lower than what it was stock, and that's okay with me. That's as far as I want to go. I don't want to go really any lower than that because yes, I am rubbing, but with that being said, it's very, very minimal. So go ahead and we'll look at these rear shocks or coilovers, because that's actually what's holding me back. I cannot go any lower on my current setup because the rears are completely maxed out, and I'll show you. So here's the rear coilover, and if you look right there, that coilover shock is as low as it's going to go. So without me messing with the spring rate, by lowering these springs down, I don't have any more movement down, which that's okay. I'd rather have the performance and just a little bit of drop than be slammed. The other part is I'm also running a 275 wide tire, which causes it to poke out pretty far from the body in both the front and rear, which makes it a little harder to stuff underneath the tire. You can see right there, 275, 35, 18. It's currently sitting on the Subaru, and I do have my rears are bent over, so I did roll, and with that comes a slight pull of the rears. Now that's the only thing that I have done. With the fronts, I do not have them rolled. I have a good amount of gap between here, and the only thing that rubs is there's a little tab that sits right here that holds the actual fender liner in, and you can see on the tire here where it's just barely rubbing when I hit big bumps. Now I'm gonna fix this, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna actually probably tap this back up or roll this fender. I haven't decided yet. Kind of like how it sits now, but it definitely needs to get rid of this little nub that's hanging it up. So the question of, does it rub? Well, yeah, it does. It's a 275 tire where a 245 used to be. That's 30 mils difference in tire width, which is about 1.25 inches wider. So now that being said, a lot of it's poking in too, but there's a lot poking out. It's all based on the specs that you have. Now, the 275, to even get them fit with the stock suspension, I had to roll the rear fenders. So the coilovers, yes, they would have rubbed, but I had to do it prior to even having the coilovers on the car to make it actually drivable. Now, I did not roll the fronts. The fronts did not need rolled, and I probably don't need them rolled if I go with a little more camber. I don't have everything dialed in perfectly yet, but right now I'm sitting at about 1.9 degrees of negative camber on the front on both sides, and that's just barely rubbing. You saw how minimal it was, and that's only on big bumps. I can still make it over speed bumps. I can still make it up steep driveways. I don't have any problems with that, with the car rubbing. It's only the tire just barely rubbing in the front when I hit big bumps. So I'm gonna fix it because that's gonna irritate me, and I don't want to ruin my fender because of it. And the part that's actually rubbing on it is actually a bracket that comes off, and it's got a really hard angle on it that's actually hitting the tire. So there's possible tire problems down the road. So yes, it does rub, but it can be fixed with camber in the front. The rears need rolled. The next question is, how is the ride quality versus the stock? Well, I actually really like these coilovers. I thought I would hate coilovers. You hear all the horror stories of, oh, they're too bouncy, oh, they suck, you always hit everything, you're scrubbing on everything. Well, these ones are actually really decent unless you're hitting bumps at a really slow speed or a really fast speed. If you're going like just cruising around town and doing your normal speeds, it's not bad at all. It really isn't. And for cornering, it's night and day. You take a corner and, like, I used to have a whole bunch of body roll in the rear, and I've got upgraded sway bars in the car, end links, and I've got the stock suspension. Well, it would roll so hard in the rear that it would, I mean, you could just feel it. It wasn't any good. So with these coilovers, you take a corner really hard and you feel the whole car is just planted, and it doesn't roll. Like, it's gonna have body roll, but it doesn't roll as hard as it used to, which is super cool, because that's one thing that I wanted to do, is I want to get this a tracker car, so where I can drive it hard and have fun with it. So I have been enjoying the ride quality. That being said, it's only been a couple weeks since I put them on. Probably hate them down the road, probably love them down the road. I don't know. I'll probably keep you guys posted on it. If you want to know, let me know in the comments, and I'll do an update video a month from now, a year from now, whatever you guys want, and I can definitely do that. So the other question is, why is your car not lower than it is right now? Well, you saw the rear. I can't go any lower in the rear, therefore I don't want to go any lower in the front and have a weird rake on the car. So where it's at is actually, well, a 1/4 inch lower than what I wanted to be in the first place, but it looks like it's going to be the optimal spot for me. I like it the way that it is. I don't want a slammed car. I want a car that I can still go to the grocery store and get stuff if I need to and not have to worry. I can loan it out to a friend, and a friend can drive it and they don't have problems with it. The other side of the coin is, I found out that it is low enough to take out a curb. So your curb stops, the things you pull up to with your tires at a parking stall, there's a little thing that you go over. I found out they hit that. And that being said, with a 6-inch curb, it also hits a 6-inch curb. So park away from the curbs. That's easy. Easy enough to be done. And I can still go over bumps, still go over speed bumps, still go up driveways. Don't have a problem with that. Do I wish it was lower? Kind of, but at the same time, I really don't. I like where it's at right now. There's definitely problems with low cars. So if I can keep the drivability and still be a lot, I mean, I'm an inch lower than I was stock. I can't believe, looking at the pictures, how high it actually looks now compared to what it's actually sitting at now. It's crazy. The other question is, was there any modifications to actually get these to fit? The answer is no. They bolt right up. Everything bolts up. The only modification you had to do was roll the fenders, and that's just because they have wide tires on it. If you don't have wide tires, if you're staying with the stock tires, you wouldn't have to roll your fenders. There wouldn't be, they just bolt right up. Now this is on a hatch. The sedan is completely different. The sedan is actually a lot taller in the rear than the hatch is. Just the mounting bracket. So the fronts are all the same. The rears are way taller in the sedans and way shorter in the hatches. I think I still have my stock. I have a stock sedan and a stock hatch setup. I'll see if I can find those. But does it need any other modifications? No, it doesn't. Bolts right up. So here's the two rear shocks that I have for the sedan and the hatch. Now, I bet you can guess which one the hatch is for. This one came off of my car, and these ones I thought would fit my car, and they have lowering springs on them, but as you can tell, the tops are the same, but the bottoms are a pretty good difference between where they actually mount up. So these are way too tall for my car. Now these are the sedan version, and this is the hatch version. These have lowering springs, but the springs won't affect how tall they are. They will just affect how far the car compresses. So these ones won't compress as much, these ones will compress more, but the mountings are still completely different. The last question I got is, what specs are you running on your car to get what alignment specs to get it to sit the way it is? Well, it's actually nothing crazy. I'm still have to get it dialed in, and I'm probably gonna send it into an alignment rack, but just a garage setup real quick. I'm running it 1.9 on the driver's side, 2 on the passenger side, and then 1.7 on both sides in the rear for camber. Toes, all 0. My caster, I actually didn't check the caster. Maybe I'll check the caster. But the real thing is the camber. With a little bit more camber, I wouldn't be rubbing in the front, but I don't want to go much more than 2 because then I'm just destroying tires for no reason. With big tires, they're expensive. I don't want to ruin them. So, my specs are actually pretty close to stock. Like, that's the stock maximum, but they're nothing outrageous. They're not running like 4 or 5 degrees camber in the front and something stupid in the back. Well, with that though, I did have to get the lower control arms for the rear to push it out to 1.7. I think the stock goes to 1.2 negative degrees, and that's if you're lucky and they actually do go that far. And then the fronts only go up to 2, but they like to have them at 1.5. So, with that being said, I can roll my front fenders and push it back down to 1.5 away from this 2 and get a lot closer to where the stock says it's supposed to be, but I want to run 2 in the front for cornering. So, stock setup, pretty much, stock alignment setup, I guess. So, would I change anything from this setup? Yes, I would. I would get the actual rear coilovers that were meant for it, just so if I ever wanted to go lower, I have that availability. But I can always buy just the shock housing from HKS for the rears and have them transfer over all my parts. So yes and no. I mean, for the price that I got them cheap enough to where it doesn't really matter right now, and it's right where I wanted it to be. I don't want it to be really any lower, and I wanted it to do exactly what it does. I have some high performance coilovers on my car, and I did it relatively cheaply. Should I have gotten the 2011 for my car? Yeah, probably. But when I paid almost a quarter of the price for these ones, it was worth a shot. So would I change anything? Right now, no. In the future, probably gonna get the rear actual shock housing for this. Might get all forged, that way they're all the same, but that way it's all the same. Cool, well, that's gonna do it for me for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have any more comments, or if you have any more specs you wanna know, or if you have any other questions, leave them down in the comments below. I would love to answer them. I gladly let you know anything that I know. If you found this video helpful, if you liked it, give it a big thumbs up. That helps me out a whole bunch. And if you like what we're doing here, always, please, please, please subscribe. I'm trying real hard to hit 1,000 subscribers. Real hard. So, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe. Leave comments, likes, you know, everything. It all helps me out in the end. So, with that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm probably gonna go for a drive. Enjoy the day. Hope you guys do. Peace.